I've got it.
Oh yeah, we are up. Okay.
Oh, what episode is this? They're 40, right? This is episode 40. Pretty sure.
39. Oh yeah, we are up.
Are you
Okay.
sure?
Yep.
Oh
I
yeah,
just
you're right. You're right. All right. Well, welcome to Dark Mushroom Media, episode 39. Today we are Sans Jose. I can only hope
hope he's dead.
he's lost in a haze of 420, 360 no scope headshots
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's the one day.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Elementary school somewhere.
gonna be me and this ginger guy over here, I guess.
One who gingers.
Yeah, the one who gingers, the soulless one, really.
Can't help it. I'm born that
And
way.
we're gonna regale you with tales of video games and video game news and video game related topics, I guess.
It's kind of our thing.
For the most part. But yeah, we've actually got a pretty cool list to go through today. There's a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of new announcements, trailers, all sorts of interesting topics to discuss. So, as usual, I'm going to hand it off to Tim. Tim, lead off the list, man. What do we got first?
Racism.
We have racism first.
We have racism all day, every day. Racist day. Let's talk about some of the new stuff that was announced or confirmed release dates and stuff like that. Because I know you're pretty series. I'm pretty neutral on, but you're pretty hyped for is Mafia 3, and that trailer just came out. And while I'm pretty neutral on, I have to admit the trailer looks fucking good.
The trailer looks really fucking good. I have to start off by saying that this really doesn't look like it's a Mafia game. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the trailer kind of paints it as like a I don't know, like a Django Unchained almost set in the 60s. You know, it's just like he's getting vengeance on all the people that did him wrong, and I don't know. It looks really interesting. Like I said, it doesn't really look like a Mafia game, but people who have endured past Mafia games might be kind of in agreement with me on the fact that maybe that's not such a bad thing. It definitely looks a lot more like GTA inspired and influenced. I noticed some Assassin's Creed-esque Eagle Vision stuff happening.
You can't do an open world game in the past, almost decade now without Assassin's Creed creeping in. So
yeah, and I mean, like I said, I'm not complaining about any of these elements, and I mean honestly, like as long as they improve on the gunplay, they make things less linear and more. I don't know if they do something about the horrific driving missions that they had in Mafia 2. I think there's really no way this game could go wrong. I'm really excited about it. I was excited about it when they first announced or did the reveal trailer. That was like 2 months ago now at this point, 3 months ago maybe. I think it was still 2016 when they made it. I can't remember if it was just before, like just at the start of 2016. Regardless, I saw that trailer and I thought it looked fucking incredible. And this one just kind of like really seals it for me. I'm really excited. This game has gone from like, yeah, I was gonna play it anyway to like definitely one of my most anticipated games. So I mean, I'll be paying attention to gameplay footage. I've already watched a couple videos. A lot of people are really praising the shooting mechanics, saying that they've really up the ante in terms of like fluidity and how that works. And I don't know. I mean, it just looks like it's going to be a fun game. It looks a hell of a lot more violent than any of the other Mafia games have been. This one looks like over the top. He's almost like a Black Punisher, pretty much, with the levels of fucking violence this guy is dishing out. But it's okay. I'm fine with it. Like I'm really okay with just playing Django, the video game set in 1960. You know, like I don't know. It looks like a lot of fun. It looks compelling, and I think it should be on a watch list for a lot more people. If you haven't checked out the trailer, you should absolutely check it out. Just get on your favorite search engine and type in, the Mafia 3. Just go for the Mafia 3.
does someone not use Google these days?
I don't know, dude.
I'm pretty sure they ate the soul of every other search engine.
There might be those people that still use Yahoo, or is Jeeves still around? Didn't it get turned into like Ask.com or something? I don't know.
And Cthulhu corrupted Jeeves or some shit.
Somebody might be using AOL. Somebody's offended because they're using AOL search bar still.
Watching our cast at 10 frames a second.
Yeah, exactly. From Windows XP.
That's beautiful.
It is. It's a beautiful thought.
That's coming out later this year, right? That's fall this year.
Yeah, actually October,
October.
which is a hell of a lot sooner than I anticipated it being released. I was not expecting it until 2017, especially like I said, considering they just had the teaser trailer for it like a few months ago. But like I said, I watched some gameplay footage. Aside from like some anti-aliasing issues and some of the shadow textures were kind of iffy, the rest of the game looks freaking incredible, dude. Like they did a really, really good job with the facial animation, and they did a good job of really portraying that in the trailer that they released. I mean, I think this has the potential to be like the sleeper hit of the year if they pull it off right, which is great because I think that this series should have gotten a lot more attention back in the day when it was first, you know.
Yeah, it certainly had a following, but not a very massive one, but it had a small cult following behind it.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm really hoping that this kind of like propels it to success. And I hope that they've really analyzed a lot of the things that they did wrong with Mafia 2 and especially Mafia 1.
So that was the only one I played for a little bit back in when I worked at the old GameStop days, and I didn't hate it, but I couldn't really get into it. But then again, I was just fucking around bored one day, so I never really sat down and gave it a chance. Maybe I'll do the second one.
You should play the second one.
I do have
at least enjoy the first few missions. Like I said, it gets pretty repetitive pretty quickly, and that tires a lot of people out. But
I spent 30 hours playing Firefight this weekend. Repetitiveness is not something I'm not used to.
I guess that's true. But yeah, like I said, really excited for it. Definitely keep everybody posted as more information comes out about this one, because I said it's going to be one of my most anticipated games of the year. I think I might actually go so far as to say that this might beat out Uncharted in terms of like hype level.
I'm not even a big Uncharted fan. I haven't had a PlayStation. Last PlayStation I had was 2, and even I recognize the ginormous following Uncharted has and how much people love it.
Yeah. I mean, I can only share like personal hype level, right? Like I don't speak for everybody. Like I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are like, "Fuck you, Uncharted 4, give it to me," like. And that's fine, like, but this trailer really, really struck a chord with me, and I think part of it had to do with the use of the song in it, "Son of a Preacher." Like, holy shit, dude, they really picked a really good song for that trailer, and it's edited and shot so well, and oh man, it's so good, dude.
But Palmer, did they get the Peggy version? I need to know.
It's a song. No, dude, it would be off key and just awful.
I know, that's the whole point.
I guess.
They should redo the trailer with Peggy. That's how Dark Mushroom Media gets viral. We'll just redo the trailer with Peggy singing that. It'll be amazing.
Speaking of awful trailers, real quick, do you see the new Warcraft movie trailer?
No. Why?
They put dubstep to it.
Of course they did.
And I just I don't understand. I don't understand that choice. The director actually, Duncan Jones got on fucking Twitter and was like, "Yo, I had nothing to do with this trailer." Like, the song choice did not come from me. Don't worry, there is no dubstep actually in the movie. Like,
oh, that would please me to no end.
And he was like, "Yeah, no, we have like a beautiful score written, and it's classic high fantasy, orchestral stuff." And just like he didn't bash the trailer, but he just he came as close to bashing the trailer as
I feel like saying I had nothing to do with this. It doesn't fit the theme. Please don't judge.
Yeah, don't crucify me because I had nothing to do. I just think
I feel like that's pretty much saying like fuck that thing.
Yeah.
In so many words.
But I mean, if you can get past the horrible choice of music, it actually the movie's still looking good.
It's gonna be awful, Palmer.
You know what? It's gonna have my money. All right, I've already read too many books in the past 2 months having to do with the Warcraft universe for me not to be invested in it at this point. All right, I'm in it to win it. God damn it, that's gonna be where I remain.
I think I've read enough Warhammer novels where I'm pretty familiar with the Warcraft universe at this point. See what I did there?
Yeah, I
see what I did there. See what I did. I'm just don't get too hyped for that movie.
It's
gonna be
your
awful.
Opinion, man.
No, it's fact. It's concrete fact.
It's concrete fat.
Blizzard, concrete fat. Blizzard would not exist if it wasn't for fucking Games Workshop. Let's just go ahead and say that. But yeah, I mean, despite me not really liking World of Warcraft, but still kind of liking Hearthstone, it's just I don't know. I can't. Even from its inception, I just couldn't see a World of Warcraft movie being good in any way, shape, or form. But maybe I'll eat my words. It'll actually be fantastic and like kind of breathe a bit of life back into the series. But considering how our fan base right now is, especially since they shut down that private server a few weeks back, and everyone's pissed off about that.
Yeah. You know what I think is really funny? Remember that last time we did a cast, I said I just discovered private servers.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to play vanilla again. And
like 2
literally,
days.
Literally the very next morning I wake up and it's the first thing on the front page of Reddit.
It's fantastic.
And I fucking lost it. I was like, God damn it, why?
I pissed off a lot of people were on that server. A lot of love.
Yeah, they had over 150,000 accounts or something.
Active accounts, not even just accounts.
Just like I couldn't believe it, man. Like why? Like I understand, right? Like, but I understand maybe you don't want them to do that, but then embrace it, adopt it, and then offer vanilla. Like offer
they just offer their own vanilla servers. Yeah,
at a discounted price. Just like say, all right, we'll create 2 vanilla servers. It's $9.99 a month instead of $15.99.
It's Blizzard. They would never do that.
Sub
it would $15 a month. But still, even if they did just a normal $15 sub a month, people would sub to it and play it.
I would.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with it even going all the way up to like Wrath of the Lich King, and then just no more after that.
I think that was the majority of the time I dumped in WoW was the Wrath of the Lich King expansion time era, like 2008. Around there.
The first 2 expansions were fucking awesome. They were really, really well done, and then just veered right down the deep end. I think I actually saw stats the other day that said that Wrath of the Lich King was its peak. Like that's when it had the most subscribers, and then it just steadily decreases.
Makes sense.
It'll like pick up when one gets released, and then just
immediately starts dropping off.
Yeah,
that was kind of like when that expansion came out, that was kind of like the peak of MMOs, because now there are many would argue MMOs that are better than WoW, but many reasonable people would say almost comparable to WoW MMOs that are completely free and have free to play models. So, but WoW still continues to have a giant player base despite all that shit. So
it really does, and I guess those are the people that are dictating what it does and doesn't do these days. I don't know.
I'm willing to bet like at least 10% of the base that are active in WoW are just like people that forgot they have a WoW account and just don't realize they're getting charged monthly for it and haven't touched it in like years.
Absolutely. Like I guarantee you.
Like a huge percentage of the player base is that.
I'm sure it is. Just
Blizzard's like, look at all these players we have.
No, they stopped releasing stats on it because they've been
actually,
so bad.
That's true. Yeah, they have.
So I don't know. Whatever. But anyways, it's not a World of Warcraft movie, Tim. It's a Warcraft movie.
Shut your fuck up. Oh, where's the Hearthstone movie? I want the Hearthstone movie.
You're getting it.
I want a Hearthstone movie that's 15 seconds long.
It's gonna be Warcraft 2 Hearthstone.
I want just Naz Dormu to pop up on the screen, and then the credits start rolling. That's it.
It's gonna be like the equivalent of like the Lego movie to the DC universe. Just like all the main characters are played out by animated cards. Not even just animated characters, just the cards are animated.
You have to buy the premium movie ticket to get the golden version of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do we want to talk about any of the Hearthstone stuff now, or are we saving that for the special
we'll save that. Okay. We're gonna do a cast. I think Sunday, this weekend at some point. I think Sunday night is when me and Palmer will be able to do it. But yeah, we'll be doing a cast for that, covering all the cards and the nerfs and all that good shit.
All right, be prepared. That one is going to be a long one, folks.
I think the last one was an hour and 20. I think this one and there were less cards, so I'm guessing around 2 hours.
There's a shitload of nerfs that we need to talk about, and then we have to talk about whether or not something's good for SWAT. I'd expect it to be 2.5 hours. Yeah, it's gonna be a long fucking cast, but it'll be fun. I'm excited.
The last one we did, so yeah. But on to new information for newer games. Something no one really gives a shit about, but I'm really excited for is Hand of Fate 2, and they recently put out some details on that. Basically, they're introducing a couple new systems into the core gameplay. What I like about it is they're just improving on the core gameplay. They're adding some new stuff in, like companions that can help you during fights. Like there was in the article I read, there was mention about a bard that'll pop in and give you buffs and shit like that. And fuck, it's just going to be such a good game, but it's a year away. Well, actually less than a year now. It's Q1 2017, but I'm really like Hand of Fate was just so fucking good, and I love it so much, and I want more people to like that game series. It was free on Xbox with the games,
Yeah.
so it did pick up some. I imagine it picked up some sort of a following, but yeah, I'm really fucking stoked for
No, I
that.
mean,
It's
like that game was really well received by a lot of people.
yeah, it's
I
just
think it sold a lot more than you think. I think that you're
it
giving
might
credit
have,
for.
it might have. It just I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it had to have surpassed the million mark. It had
I
to.
don't know. Like I didn't even know about the game until it had been out for a month or so. I think so. It just I guess it just didn't have the budget for a big promotional campaign or anything. But yeah, and when you also incorporate in all the Games for Gold people that actually played it, I'm sure it does have a decent player base or a decent number of people know about it now. But I'm very hyped for it because it doesn't look like they're changing too much. They're just adding in things. They're improving on things. It's gonna be fucking awesome. I can't wait to read about that as the year goes on and I find out more.
Yeah, it's been all right. So it's sold about 400,000 copies on PC and console, and then was downloaded 1.5 million times as part of the free game promotion for Xbox Live.
Damn. That's still they sold more copies than I thought they would have. But yeah, that's awesome. Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, I think the next release is going to be a pretty big one on people's lists.
And it was also the way they did post-release content. Like they released one affordable DLC pack, I think it was like $7 at full price, and then they released like 4 smaller content patches that added more cards and added to the gameplay. And like they did all that as they were starting to work on Hand of Fate 2, and like so they kept working on and improving the game despite moving on to the second one. It was just I like when developers do that. So I'm happy. I'm a happy person right now. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah, we're good.
All right, cool.
Okay. Let's move on to some other stuff. Let's move on to the Xbox One realm. Firefight happened this weekend. You know, you dipped your toes in it for a little bit, but I dumped around 30 hours into it.
Yeah. It was well. Give your opinion on it first. I want to hear what you have to say about it.
I mean, it's positive. They need to change a few things, but like from what the community wants, like won't fit what the game currently is really. Like if you wanted to do a limited lives thing, you'd have to like incorporate a revive mechanic, like was in the Halo 5 campaign, but that wouldn't really be like the old firefight, and old veterans would bitch and whine about that. But you can't really keep it the way it is because dying has literally no consequence. In fact, it was actually beneficial in many instances to kind of throw your life away over and over, taking down a raid boss or holding down a position and shit like that. So they need to tweak it, but I'm really a big fan of it. I like it. They just need to tweak it a little bit. At first, like a lot of people were worried the amount of wrecks you would go through, like the amount of cards you earn from opening packs that you can use in Halo Firefight. You'd burn through them too fast. Not really an issue with me. I was opening bronze packs, and then after a few games, I was averaging like 1 a game. And after a few games, I just started calling in tanks and ghosts and wraiths and all sorts of shit. And I think I unlocked like 10% of the shit that there is to unlock in Halo 5 over the course of the weekend, too. So their whole pack model with microtransaction bullshit actually isn't that bad, because in the course of like a weekend, I unlocked a giant percentage of stuff. I have all sorts of assault rifles, battle rifles, yada yada. And I think that stuff actually kind of works better in Firefight than regular Warzone, just aside from the fact that regular Warzone's kind of meh. The fact that depending on what waves come in, you can tailor your weapons to it. You can equip your assault rifles to use like anti-vehicle rounds. You can equip long DMR rifles with long barrels for like taking out not wraiths. What are those flyers called? Well, the flyers at a distance. Yeah, no, not banshees. The little fucking Promethean things. I can't remember the name. The point is you can tailor your weapons to different situations depending on the wave, and that's really fucking awesome. I think that it's much more beneficial in Firefight than in regular Warzone, because in regular Warzone it's PvP mostly. Like there's very little PvE, honestly. So it didn't really matter. But no, I can see why people may have a problem with it. I can see there's many issues. The fact that you can't do it privately because you earn rec with it, and that has to be online. The fact that there's just a lot of little things, but overall, I'm a pretty big fan of it, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm honestly hoping they bring it back for like another weekend before summer, because I'm gonna miss it till then. Because I think I had just around 24 hours dumped into Halo 5 previously, and now I'm at well over 2 days. So I did put some time into that.
I did not walk away from it as positive as you did. I enjoyed it for the short burst of time that I played it, but I found myself getting really bored really quickly. I really hope that they don't limit it to, what was it, 5 rounds?
Yeah, pretty much everyone's saying they need to up the round.
I think they should make it. I think they should make it so it's unlimited. You go until you all fucking die. But I think they need to up the difficulty progressively if they're going to try to do something like that. And that would, if they did that, as far as like having a limited amount of lives, that wouldn't matter to me. As long as it gets harder and harder, like if you can get to wave 20, you know, it should get significantly more difficult, and then you get to, you know, wave 30 every 10 rounds, like with Gears of War, just like amps the difficulty level like another notch.
I don't see them doing unlimited. I think 10 is probably what they'll settle on.
I just, oh man, it doesn't seem, unless they really make round 10 something really, like really the only time we were having any problems was on those stupid defenses, and
they put out a thing a day later, like when after they did Firefight, saying 50% of the people or matches played on this or over 50% of them are lost. So yeah, but you know what the problem is with that? It's not so much that it's hard to hold that spot, but I mean it is kind of hard.
People don't go in.
Yeah, like you have to be there before it happens, so you have to have people just go there every round in case it happens, because otherwise the meter on the thing, the life meter, if you will, starts draining immediately, and you know the team racing to get there, it's halfway gone by the time you're there, and you're pretty fucked. But yeah, difficulty wise, it's not exactly hard. I will say, like, there were I played a lot of games, and there were a few games I played where everyone was kind of just off doing their own thing, and we just lost because of it. Like, you know, people would focus on 3 different raid bosses at a time, and none of them died, and you just lost. So,
out of all the rounds we played during the 2 hours or so that I played it with you, we got a few rounds in. We only had we lost twice in defense. We even beat defense once. Mm-hmm. And then the only other time that we lost was one time where we were succumbing to what you were just talking about. People weren't focusing one target at a time.
Right.
So, I mean, like, I don't know, like, not to go back on what I just said about the unlimited stuff, I think that would be the ideal way to do it. But if they set a 10-round limit, I expect rounds 7 through 10 to be, like, fuck you difficulty. And then they should just balance it so you still get a decent amount of like stuff, and you still can get a rec pack if you lose after a certain round. Treat it like Hearthstone Arena. Your rewards just get better and better the longer you can continue with it, and just make it fuck you difficult at you know, starting at round 7, and really start amping it up so like you get to know the people that you're playing with. Like, I would love there to be more communication, and like force it to be something that can harbor a community, because like a firefight really was so much fun, and I really want them to get it to the point where it requires communication again. Because like, do you remember like when we used to play that shit, like we'd all just be yelling at one another. We had like a team of, we played that like every night for like a long while. I can't even remember what wave we made it to maximum, but back in the day. But
are you talking ODST or Reach? Because I played a lot of both.
Talking ODST.
ODST.
Yeah. And like, I don't know, maybe it's nostalgia, but I was hoping, I guess, that it was going to be more like that, and that wasn't the experience I walked away with. It was just a fun.
It just wouldn't really work with the system that's in play right now like that, honestly. They should just really try to hone in on what Reach did, because Reach had so much goddamn diversity to its firefight mode. There were literally like 24 different firefight modes you could set up or queue up for. Like, you could do it privately, you could fucking search for it on matchmaking, and like each mode offered a different, like Gruntpocalypse was amazing, just having like a million fucking grunts on the field shooting field rod cannons at you. It was hilarious. It was awesome. They need to bring shit like that back. I think they said that they are going to incorporate more modes into Warzone Firefight like that, and whenever they put out a new Warzone map, they're going to be able to play it on Firefight immediately too. So they have plans to support this mode. They're not quickly just like doing it just to get the community to shut the fuck up in seconds, but they have to do a little bit of tweaking with a lot of things. That's pretty much the sum of the issues. You just have to do a little bit of tweaking with a lot of goddamn things to get it fucking working right. But I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm hoping they do improve on it a little bit. I'm looking forward to it, honestly, because Like I said, I farmed up a shit. I think I farmed up like 150 rec over the 150,000 rec over the course of the weekend.
Yeah.
It was retarded. It was awesome.
But yeah, like I think the most difficult part about Firefight to me was just going back to playing on a controller again and relearning how to fucking deal with that. Like once that difficulty went away, that it wasn't hard. It was really easy. But man, did I have like a disconnection there when I first jumped back on it. I was like, what the fuck am I doing right now?
I relearned using the controller by playing Griffball on and off over the past couple weeks. So by the time Firefight came out, I was good. But yeah, even just switching over to the Gears beta, fucking it's fucked. My hands and my brain just don't communicate properly. I'm just looking for the W key and it's not there, Palmer. It's never there.
Well, tell your brain to communicate better.
Drugs, it's just not happening.
Well,
but yeah, Firefight. Hopefully it'll be improved and we'll hop back into it and we can actually get a few of us together because Vasquez was fucking balls deep in the division, so I couldn't get a hold of him.
Yeah, I shot him a text message and he just like didn't respond.
He was divisioning it up.
Probably.
All my old GameStop buds didn't have fucking Halo or didn't have an Xbox. It was sad. It was mostly riding solo, but I still had an immense amount of fun considering.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's what matters. If that's the most fun part of Halo 5 for you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I guess the 30 hours you just dumped into it justified the price.
Oh, yeah. I'm happy about that they finally added Big Team Battle, and I play that from time to time. And I'm really happy about Griffball, and I play that from time to time. But Firefight was the first thing Halo-wise where I literally would sit down on the couch for like 8 hours at a stretch, and the sun would come up, and be like, oh, shit, I should probably get to sleep now.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't done that with Halo in quite some time, since Reach, so.
Maybe this is a new beginning.
One would hope. One would hope. But I guess we'll just transition real quick into the Gears beta. It's going to be open for everyone next week, so I mean you can hop on it next week. This week it's just for people that bought the Ultimate Edition and played it before I think the year was out. Pretty neutral on it thus far. It's Gears. It's weird going back to a game where you don't actually aim. You just position your shotgun in such a way that you liquefy your opponent. That's all the multiplayer is. It's like, oh yeah, I remember this. It was kind of fun.
I've heard they've changed the active reload stuff.
Yeah. You don't necessarily you don't have to like a big thing with active reloading and getting the bonus damage was you'd have to unload like a couple bullets or a shotgun shell or whatever to get the reload to go off. I noticed in the beta, like, no, right off the bat you can reload and get the fucking buff to go on if you active reload it properly. Right off the bat, you don't have to actually unload, and saves you a little bit of time.
But how, like, are the mechanics of it any different, or is it still just the same way?
It's the same. It's basically. I mean, I haven't played a Gears game in almost 5 years at this point, 4.5 years at this point. So I'm pretty. I never fucked around with Judgment. I haven't messed around with the backwards compatibility Gears at all. So it's been a while.
You got Gears too, right?
Yeah.
We should hop on Horde mode on backwards compatibility on that sometime.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing that.
I think that would be fun.
But it feels the same. But I think we talked about this last cast. If they do a Horde mode and it actually improved the way the Horde mode improved from 2 to 3, I will probably pick it up just because of that. And just in case, like if you get to, I think it's rank 20 in the Gears beta, you unlock a bullshit exclusive armor set and whatnot, so I'm probably going to slowly grind away and unlock that just in case I actually want to play Gears when it comes out. But yeah, we'll hop on it next week and we'll see what
I have to say the latest trailer that they put up did not do anything for me.
I haven't seen any of the trailers. I don't give a shit.
Oh man, like they were really gunning for that whole you remember the first Gears of War trailer where it was like oh damn, what the hell's the name of that song?
Oh, yeah.
That Tears for Fears cover. Yeah. And, you know, like, it was something that everybody was like, oh, man, this is so poignant and blah, blah, blah. And they expected something completely different, and then they got Gears of War. They were clearly aiming for something like that, and it was just like, dude, they used the Disturbed cover of, what's the hell's the name of that song? It's like, Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend.
Oh God!
Disturbed, yeah, dude, they used the Disturbed cover of that.
Bothered that Disturbed covered that, and
yeah, me too, a little bit. But yeah, they used that in the trailer, and as soon as I heard Dryman's voice, I immediately just was like, "Nope, this trailer is done for me. Really, just don't care."
Fuck you and your trailer.
Really, just don't care. I just couldn't believe it. I don't know. I didn't like it. They were going for something there, and I was just like, I've played Gears of War games. Don't try to convince me that there's going to be some sort of emotional nonsense in this. There's none. There isn't none, any. Like, people's wives die and then they're just okay. Like, literally 2 seconds later. Like,
I remember the exact second I stopped giving a shit about Gears storyline was when the second game, Bender just out of nowhere screams, "It's a giant worm."
Yeah.
And fucking out of nowhere,
a
a giant worm just pops up. And then the third one, they were yelling glowies every 3 seconds. Like, oh god, it's stupid, dumb. But the horde mode was fun. That's all I really give a shit about. So,
are they bringing that back in the new one?
If they don't, they have to. Like, how do you not? Honestly, that was like the major selling point for the past 2 games. I think even Judgment had it. They'd be retarded not to. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. So I'll have to wait and see how that looks like before I really care, honestly. Game updates, I guess?
Yeah, let's do
it. The game updates. Killing Floor added the PvP and the prison map.
Yep.
I messed around with PvP very, very briefly. It was okay. I'm happy with it. I prefer they released more perks and weapons and stuff, but it's cool that they did it. But I am a big fan of the new prison map, because that map is Jesus. It's fucking big. There's lots of little maps.
It's really big, especially for fucking Killing Floor map. Dude.
Yeah,
like, it is huge, really big.
Like, I've been playing. Pretty much everyone I play Killing Floor with, most of the time we play on fucking modded, like community-made maps. And it really shows when they release a new map, just the difference between, Skrakes on a plane and fucking their new prison map. It's fucking awesome. Not that there's anything wrong with Skrakes in a plane. That map is just god tier, but they do put a lot of effort into the map.
It's certainly something. It is certainly something. I don't know about god tier, but it is certainly
It's god tier. It should be a firefight map. That'd be amazing.
Imagine? Somebody probably will create that in Forge. I mean, it's not like it would be that hard.
Someone just released a Vietnam map, so yeah, I guess it wouldn't be that hard. But what did you think of the PvP?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I agree. I don't think it would hold my interest for very long. Not like the main game holds my interest. PvP reminded me a lot of Left 4 Dead. There were a few little gimmicks thrown in that kind of made it feel different, but for the most part, it felt like it was very similar to Left 4 Dead. Well, more Left 4 Dead 2 than Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I don't know. It was fun. It was a good waste of time. I think it'll be interesting, like when the Sharpshooter gets released, and I really start putting a lot of time into that. Like, because then I will really start playing this fucking game. I've already put like 30 hours into it, but I'm ready to dump another 30 just on Sharpshooter, just to get him maxed, So once that hits, I think it'll be fun to bounce between PvP and playing the regular game when I'm grinding it out and getting all the way to max.
I think that's what they were going for, was just some, an extra little thing to keep players active in their base.
Yeah,
and changer.
Yeah, exactly. It's nothing amazing, but it's not bad. Really, like you were, I was really impressed with the new map, just the size of it, and just like I got so lost.
Yeah, after a couple rounds, I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I got so lost and like just had no idea where my team was sometimes, and just was wandering. And the only forwards mentality was just all that was ringing in my brain. But yeah, it's good. I'm glad. I actually hope that they continue with this trend and release bigger maps that are more complex. Because I felt like a couple of them in Killing Floor 2, so far out of the ones that were released, were kind of similar in the sense that like bottle them into one area and then just go from there.
Yeah.
So I hope that they continue like adding some fluidity to the newer maps. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. So I'm looking forward to what they after the shit live stream they put on. I was impressed.
That's their first one, Palmer.
Granted, my expectations were like pretty much as low as they could go at that point. Well, not as low as they could.
Man, it took them like a month to release some fucking Rising Star Red Orchestra 3 bullshit, so you just shut the fuck up, Palmer. I had to wait a month for that shit.
That's strange.
Speaking of shit just collapsing, Nosgoth, which is something we haven't talked about in a while, but we've briefly mentioned last year, which was the vampire PvP game set in the what was it? Soul. God damn it, those old Soul games. God, Soul Reaver, Soul something. God, I don't remember. Based on an old PlayStation 1 franchise. It's shutting down May 31st because no one really gives a shit. It had a somewhat of a following around like when it first got on Steam and it started putting out updates and like building into something. But apparently it was just in a stagnant form of who gives a fuckery for a while now. And it's like from what I read, it just seems like they were trying to milk their player base for every penny they could before announcing they were shutting down. So it's kind of sucks because there aren't many games like it where it's a fucking PvP vampire game with all sorts of weird little powers and shit.
Yeah,
somewhat reminiscent of like the Vampire the Masquerade game, but I don't know. Maybe that type of formula. I'm sure that type of formula will pop up again somewhere. So it's not the biggest loss, but I guess it sucks if you're a Nosgoth fan.
Yeah, again. The 3,000 people that played that game.
Yeah, pretty much. Now on to the greatest game ever, Dino D-Day. Got its first update in a very long time. 2 new maps. Actually pretty fun. I made Jose. I said, Jose, you're fucking popping on this with me, and we played it for an hour or so and had a good time.
Well, Orion. You guys have done that with Orion, so I really
He's taking that shit to a whole new level.
It's
like
disgusting.
It's turning into Star Citizen. I kid you not. It's going to be a better Star Citizen than Star Citizen. You wait and see. But they added 2 new maps.
Never mind. I'm not even gonna.
No, I know. I knew exactly what you're gonna say.
Go ahead.
It don't matter. None of this matters. 2 new maps. They were gonna do 3, but the third one is actually this giant map they've been planning for a while and working on for a while, where it's got a subterranean level and an above ground level. Sounds really cool. I'm looking forward to trying that out. And they've also all but confirmed that they're working on a Dino D-Day 2, which would be nice because as much as I love Dino D-Day, it is a game that's based off a mod that came out 5 years ago on the Source engine. So, it could use a
Source Engine 2, baby.
I think Source Engine 2 is what it's on now. Like they've upgraded the engine a couple times throughout the years. But it'll just be nice to see that with a facelift and a bit of renewed player base and all that. But surprisingly, people still fucking play that game. Like even at 4 a.m. when I'm just like, I want to play Dino D-Day for 10 minutes. There are servers. Like it's amazing. People like that game, Palmer. What do? Game's amazing.
What setting your game at 99 cents will do for you.
Yeah, that's there's a lot of truth to that, honestly. Although when it goes on sale, it's 99 cents. It's on sale constantly, so still relevant.
Yeah.
Still relevant.
Or it's in a bundle or something.
Yeah. I've sent that to fucking at least a dozen people on my friends list. No regrets. No regrets. How about Doom a little bit? Something we talked about last cast. First things first, they announced their post-launch content, which includes a season pass, which just saddens pretty much everyone.
To be expected.
It's in this day and age, it is.
The part that kind of pisses me off about it is the fact that they're really going and embracing the old model of like separating the player base. Like,
right.
I thought we kind of moved away from this because
some
Halo and like even fucking Call of Duty has said it's not charging for the next round of multiplayer maps. They're like setting up a season pass for like other stuff.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Homefront's doing that, which I'm going to talk about later.
Homefront's doing that. Like, I felt like we're, if we hadn't gotten there 100%, we were like on the verge, on the cusp, of not having to pay for multiplayer maps anymore. And then this happens, and I'm just like, what the fuck are you thinking, Bethesda? What the fuck are you thinking, Bethesda? Like, you're taking a game that's already not really well known for its multiplayer and is going to be a fun thing, but it's not why people are buying the game.
Right.
And making a whole fucking season pass from it and dividing your player base. It's just like, that's so stupid. Nobody's going to buy your season pass. Everybody's going to buy the base game. And that's going to be the extent of it. Like,
yep. And then they'll wonder why they're not selling DLC. But
yeah. I mean, if the season pass was like, like expansions and like extra single player content, I think people would be a lot happier. Because like honestly, like with as good as the expansion was for Doom 3, like I'd be willing to.
The first couple of like Doom, like the bonus Doom levels and all that shit that were put in later iterations of the game, like that stuff was great.
Yeah, so I mean,
It's
I don't
just
know.
sucks. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's like you
for sure.
said. I don't think anyone's really gonna give a shit because no one's gonna buy it. And despite the issues of that and maybe some other stuff Doom's going through right now, it's still gonna have an active player base. So you're still gonna be able to play it online for pretty much the foreseeable future. So
Yeah, I
just
mean,
don't expect to do so on DLC maps.
I just hope it's not. It's not like one of those situations where I get the feeling it's going to be like Evolve, dude. Like that's what I'm seeing.
No,
The
it
player
would have
base is just going to fall right off a cliff, dude.
the player base like fell with Evolve. The player base fell off a cliff like the weekend it came out, pretty much. Like people, it had a lot of marketing and hype behind it, and all a free to play fucking DLC model, and because of that, it failed. As much as it sucks that Doom has a season pass, it's nowhere near the extent of fucking Evolve. Like Evolve was its own fucking travesty in and of itself. But no, I can see the why you're comparing the two because it's somewhat similar, but it's nowhere near that extreme. I still think Doom will have a player base regardless.
I hope so.
It's fun.
I think it's a lot more fun than people are giving it credit for.
Now they're giving it credit. It's something I noticed and wanted to point out was when people played the closed beta, it was pretty much positive all around. People were like,
Yeah, I
it's
think
kind of
it said-
Halo, kind of Call of
I
Duty.
think it said mostly positive when we played the closed beta.
Yeah, but people were generally happy with it. And then they opened the floodgates to just every pleb on the internet, and it dropped down to mostly negative, with the most insightful reviews being, this is Call of Duty. Or, this isn't like Doom that came out fucking 22 years ago. What the fuck?
But it's not at all, like the whole thing. Like aside from loadouts, it's not at all like Call of Duty. It's not like
There are some similarities between it and Halo, but nowhere near to the point where to say like, oh, this is just Halo. It's definitely.
I think there's a lot of similarities to Halo, but it doesn't feel like Halo either. It feels I don't know. We said it last cast, like it feels like
it's its
Unreal
own entity.
Tournament. Yeah, it meets Halo 3. Like that's all it is. And
a bunch
like,
of weird things that we haven't seen for a while coming together to make something kind of cool.
Yeah, and I mean, like, yeah, it's like it's what's something that we can compare it to? It's like that Lord of the Rings game that came out recently. By recently, I mean like 2 years ago.
Lord of the Ring. Oh, Shadow of Mordor.
Yeah. So like that game like borrowed a bunch of different elements from a whole bunch of other games, and it accumulated into something that was really, really good.
Yeah.
There was nothing original about it really, but it was just fun. It was a hell of a lot of fun to play, and I think that's really what this Doom multiplayer is. It just borrows a lot of different elements, and if you just stop being douchebags about it for a little bit and stop worrying about the fact that it isn't fast and accept it for what it is a fun fucking game.
Yeah, that's actually a great comparison because Mordor was basically like the Batman games with a little bit of
Assassin's Creed, yeah,
this and that, yeah, so very similar in that regard.
And so like people are like, what? One of the big things that everybody seemed to really be criticizing was the whole like the close-up kills, and I was just like, man, I really enjoyed those. Like, I understand there wasn't any hand-to-hand combat in any of the other Dooms, but it's kind of become a staple. And for Christ's sakes, the guys that made Halo 5 multiplayer are making Doom multiplayer. What do you expect?
I could do without the shucking and jiving dance emotes, but I guess you got.
Dude, those are the best though.
I don't need those. That's kind of an extreme, but you know, I'll accept it, I suppose.
That's a dark. You know what that's for? That's a Dark Souls thing, dude. Just spamming emotes.
Spamming the dance emotes, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think people are just like ready to just sacrifice it, and I think you're right. I think there will be a dedicated player base to it, but I don't think it's going to be nearly. It's not going to be big.
No, but for a game like that, you really don't need a big player base.
Yeah, it's just I hope that over the next couple of years I'll be able to hop on and play matches when I want to. I don't think it's going to be all the time after I get over my initial like play 60 hours of it over a weekend and then just be done with it for fucking months, and then but like I get the feeling it's going to be something that I'm going to want to return to here and there, and I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. There was an interesting thing that Total Biscuit brought up, and I didn't even realize it until he said it. You can't pick up enemy weapons unless it's the super weapon, and it's just not something that occurred to me because I was so content with the rocket launcher the entire time that I
and the shotgun.
Yeah, like you can't pick up anybody else's weapon kit, which after he said that and I jumped in and played the open beta after that, I was like, this fucking bothers me now.
Didn't even notice it before, and then it became
Yeah,
obvious.
and then all of a sudden I was just like, "Fuck! Why is this?" So I hope they implement that. Although I think we're too close to release to really see any changes. Um, but yeah, man, I don't know. It'll be fun. I think the thing that excites me the most is just seeing what the other demon powers are going to be. When everybody's not the OP Revenant, like when people turn into pinkies and shit. Like, I want to see what the other demon powers are going to be. I think that'll be a lot of fun, like exploring those with the multiplayer. But yeah, don't listen to the goddamn Steam reviews on this thing. 26% my ass, dude. That game is.
Well, I
So
mean,
much...
in general, Steam reviews are just it's retarded. That's the only
Yeah,
word for it. Fuck being
yeah.
politically correct. It's actually retarded. People are just stupid, and they have no merit to their point. It's just this is dumb. Herpa derp derp.
Yeah, I mean, like, there were a few other things that I think that some people said that actually made, like, valid points. Like, it would be nice if they did loadouts differently and made, like, you know, the rocket launcher and the super shotgun and stuff like pickups throughout the level, because those were really consistent weapons.
It was kind of weird to see rocket launcher right off the bat,
Yeah.
but I don't think it was like game breaking weird.
Yeah. And so it's just like, well, I see your point. I understand the anti-loadout thing, but at the same time, it didn't take away the fun of it from me. It was just like, well, everybody's starting off with a rocket launcher pretty much, because that's the only thing anybody ever really used. So I don't know. I like I said, bottom line, I enjoyed it. I'm continuing to enjoy it. I'm still really excited for it, regardless of what Steam sees.
Yeah, pretty much in the same boat. I've already pre-ordered it, so my hype train is on board. I do want to segue into Homefront, kind of, because it jives with the whole season pass thing. I hadn't really paid much attention to Homefront. They did a open beta about 2 months ago or
And
so. Yeah, it
was not received well at all.
It didn't run well.
Shat all over that game.
It was kind of meh.
Yeah.
Whatever. But they've been putting out stuff over the past couple weeks, and I finally started looking at it, and I just am stupid fucking excited for this game now. Like we kind of mentioned earlier, they're doing the Halo kind of model. They're doing a season pass, but it's all single player stuff. The multiplayer, which is like a co-op mode, they're going to release it, or they're going to support it for the next year for free, and constantly release content from that, being new areas, new weapons, new fucking decals, whatever the fuck. But
When you
I
say
like that.
Co-op, is it going to be like a horde mode type thing, or
No, yeah, yes and no. It's as fucking gimmicky as it sounds. It really looks like a kind of co-op mode with a Dark Souls aspect to it, because like shit can just go bad real quick. Like you can do something simple like just ambush a patrol, take it out, and just go along your merry way, and then all of a sudden a giant blimp spots you, and just hell rains down upon you, and there's pretty much no escape, because the whole concept of the game is you're just some resistance fighter with a fucking shittily made AK-47 with like duct tape and shit. And they're, the KPA with fucking laser sights and drones and all sorts of shit coming at you. I really like that. But yeah, it looks like a challenging co-op experience, which is something I haven't really been seen for a while, honestly. Like we were talking about firefight and stuff. Yeah, there are certain things where you just up the difficulty and it makes it harder. But it's just the way you play it. It looks really interesting. Like you have to be you're a resistance fighter. You got to like lurk in the shadows. You got to be smart. You can't just pick firefights left and right. You got to choose your point of attack. All sort of little things like that really fucking they jive with me. So I'm really fucking looking forward to this game. And apparently the single player campaign is 20 hours long, which is literally like 4 times the length of the first game. I think I ran through it in like 4 hours. So looking for 4 or 5 hours or so. So I'm looking forward to that, because I saw some gameplay on that too, and it actually looks really fucking cool. It was really brutal. So
I mean, the one thing that I will say about like the poor reception from the beta is that I think a lot of people didn't realize that it was actually a beta. Like they didn't release like something like we've gotten so used to the idea that beta means like, all right, we're gonna play it a month before it's out and it'll be a more polished experience. It's just like a slice of the game. When people were playing the Homefront beta, it was actually a beta, so there was going to be frame rate issues. There were going to be problems with the engine. There were going to be like a bunch of things. But unfortunately, I think they made that beta too public, and like as a result, people just saw that and don't understand like what beta means, like actually means.
Most people forget testing usually comes after beta. That's the main thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, beta is supposed to be a form of testing. Like people are supposed to break a game. In a beta, you're supposed to break the game and then report it. Like that's what a true beta is, or alpha even. And I don't know. I think that game still has potential to be another one of those sleeper successes. I'm really rooting for it because I think Homefront 1 offered up a lot of potential. I don't think it quite got there. I would say it's just an average game, and it was really close to being a good game. And so like this one, I've got high hopes. I really do. I don't know. I'm gonna have to sit on the fence and see. We'll see what the reviews are like. It may be one of those purchases that I just like wait on for a while. When it first gets down to $40 or so, I'll probably pick it up.
It's probably a smart play.
Yeah.
The first one was just so fucking like the first one came out around the same time frame as Spec Ops: The Line, which is like the game most people praise as being like, holy shit, this game's brutal. Homefront was way more graphic and just holy shit than that.
Was like, what
like
the
in the
fuck?
opening sequence, you see like parents executed in front of their children and shit like that, and that's how the game starts. Like it's fucking brutal, and it looks like the Revolution's gonna keep up with that holy shitness that really just fucking grabs you. Oh man, I'm looking.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, the first one was really effective at like grabbing you in the gut, like right off the bat, and just propelling you forward. Like you had to do some fucked up shit in that game, dude. Like,
yeah, but you wanted to do some fucked up shit because they were doing fucked up shit.
Yeah,
You really got into it.
So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's got potential. I'm rooting for it. I'm really hope that it ends up being successful, but we'll see. I'm reserved on that one for now.
It's kind of a shitty release timeline wise because it's like right in between Total War Warhammer and fuck, what's the other game? Another game. Doom.
Yeah.
It's like right in the release of all that shit. So I think that'll hurt it sales wise. But as long as the reception's good for it, eventually it'll pick up players over time, I think, because like I said, they're going to be supporting it for at least a year.
A lot of people really did like the first one.
This was this fun game. It was really short campaign, but it was fun, and the multiplayer was actually kind of cool. It was like Bad Company 2 makes like Call of Duty before it sucked. It's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see where it goes.
And it looks good. That's the last thing I want to point out. It actually looks good. The first game, even for 2011, looked fucking awful. This game looks good because engine, fantasticness. There's only one other thing I really want to touch on, and that's just the Dirty Bomb event that's been going on for the past couple of weeks now.
Oh yeah,
it's going pretty good. The first,
yeah, you and Jose have been playing a shitload of that.
Yeah, I was dumping time into it before Firefight. I switched over that, but now I'm switching it back over to Dirty Bomb. There were issues with it, with the event boosters, which are like the event currently you get like an extra set of currency for the event that you can use to unlock little trinkets or like get cases or get boosters that will up your chance of getting a limited edition event case, which is like a special super holy shit skin for your character and loadout and whatnot. And they just weren't dropping the first week, and they addressed it by saying, no, yeah, everything's working as it should, and it just wasn't. When week 2 rolled around, pretty much everyone who played got a case within their first few matches. So I guess that that was their way of saying sorry. And since then, it's been kind of a mixed reception from the community of like, well, now the event boosters are kind of working, and people going, no, this still isn't working. They're full of shit. What the fuck? Like, there are new graphs daily on the subreddit. It's kind of hilarious. It's just a weird thing going on right now with Dirty Bomb. Overall, though, the event has people playing, and it has me playing. There's no new maps or anything, but the new Merc kind of helps, and just the fact that you can unlock little trinkets and bullshit and stupid in-game items without actually having to drop cash is really cool. So I'm happy with it, and it's still running for 3 weeks, but I really hope Splash Damage addresses the whole booster situation and the event drops and all that shit, because it is just all sorts of fucked up right now. All sorts of fucked up, Palmer. I just wanted to address that.
What exactly is the situation with it?
Basically, you can spend the new currency on these things called boosters that you can stack up to 10 times. The way it's supposed to work is when you play games in Dirty Bomb, you have a chance to get a limited edition case drop. The more games you play, the higher your chance of getting a case drop. With these boosters, you can stack them up to 10 times. If you stack them up to 10 times, the way it's supposed to work is the special edition case will drop at the same rate as a normal equipment case, which is about 30%. And it just wasn't happening. People were playing like 50, 60 matches and getting, dozens of equipment cases and no special edition case. And the devs were like, no, everything's working. Fuck you. It's just RNG. Fuck yourself. That was pretty much their response to the community. And they didn't take it very lightly.
Yeah.
So that's just the whole thing that's going on. But it's got people playing. It'd be nice if we had a new map because it's been fucking months, but whatever. It's not like there's only 5 maps in the game or anything. No big deal. But yeah. So that's happening with Dirty Bomb.
All right. Do we want to talk about Dark Souls 3 at all, or?
Yeah, I figured you'd want to ramble about that for a little bit. That's why I give you the floor to finish us off.
All right. Well, we're gonna end it with some Dark Souls talk, some tales from the Dark Souls.
I do want to point out it looks so much more amazing than the first game because I'm slowly grinding away the first game, and then I looked at people playing the third one. I was like, oh man, that game actually looks kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I enjoyed that, but the third one, man, it really just whips the shit out of the second one. The second one was tough to get through at points, and this third one, I am just like 100% intrigued the entire time. The experience, the exploring, it's like playing Dark Souls 1 all over again. It is a little more linear than Dark Souls 1. You can't just immediately go wherever the fuck you want to. Well, I mean, you could do that to an extent in Dark Souls 1. There's still like a level. Areas split, and if you decide that you want to tackle tougher areas first, you can. But for the most part, there is kind of like a set path on like how you're supposed to go through things efficiently, I guess. So it is a little more linear when comparing it to Dark Souls 1, but it's a hell of a lot less linear than Dark Souls 2. And man, oh man, am I enjoying it, man! It's just I can't get enough of it. It's really just raked me in again, and like it feels like I like it more than Bloodborne, and I really spoke highly of Bloodborne. But I don't know, there's something, Dark Souls just feels good. It's so much more difficult. It's so much more rewarding. Like Bloodborne is really rewarding, but there's a certain point in Bloodborne where it really just turns into a hack and slash game, and you just like go balls to the wall hitting an enemy, and you can just get away with that for a good portion of the game, especially towards the end. And in this one, it's nice to go back to like having to do the dances, like with tough enemies, like really having to dodge and evade, and
roll
around, and make sure you get behind an enemy, or make sure that you really know what you're doing and can parry an attack. And then just go in for the kill. But it's so much more rewarding than Bloodborne is, and as much fun as Bloodborne was, it feels really good to return back to this level of difficulty. But they've also borrowed a lot of elements from Bloodborne. The combat does feel faster, so it's not quite as slow paced as Dark Souls 1 or 2. It rewards more play styles. Like, you don't have to build like tank or straight strength or go like magic and hope for the best. Play the game, but I'm getting away with a character that's using just a broadsword and a kite shield. So he wears. I'm pumping points into dexterity, endurance, and a little bit into I can't remember if it's vitality or vigor, whatever gives you like more health.
What class are you?
I played as whatever the assassin. It's one where you like spawn with 2 swords. I can't remember the name of it.
Not the pyromancer, which is the only class I'm familiar with.
Anyways, while I'm looking that up, so like I'm getting away with being able to do. So basically, the kite shield gives me 100% physical reduction. So I'm able to block hits. I can block a lot of hits because of endurance, but I also have low equip weight, so my character is really nimble, really able to just kind of like bounce around battle. So I'm never carrying anything more. I'm usually hovering around like 60 69% equip. So I'm still really nimble. I'm not like super duper fast, but like, you know, a good average. Because when you hit 70 is when it starts to your rolling starts to become really slow. And so like I'm able to dodge, I'm able to get in and get like lots of hits in with the broadsword. I'm dealing lots of damage while I'm doing it, but I have the option to be nimble, so I can kind of choose how I want to pick my fights. And because of the dexterity, I do a shitload of damage with bows. So I'm just able to like pull enemies from a distance and just like choose the way that I want to fight them and then move on. And it's a really versatile way of playing through the game. And I've experimented with classes like that in the past with Dark Souls games and have been nowhere near as successful as I have with this one. So it kind of opens up a whole new play style that I think was lacking from the first two experiences. And then they're reintroducing characters from, like, I feel like Dark Souls 2 was kind of like, it was like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 of the series. Like, it was just like a step away from what it should have been. You know what I mean? Like, instead of having like a gritty fucking horror film like you did with Texas 1, you have Dennis Hopper like being an asshole and running around and it being more of a black comedy than an actual horror film. So like 2, basically the analogy that I'm trying to make is that 2 doesn't make any sense with 1 and 3. Like 1 and 3 are definitely parallel games. 2 is just kind of an experience.
I'm looking forward to playing through 2 because I have to, and now you're telling me I'm fucking Dennis Hopper. God damn it.
I don't know.
Staring at my limited edition statue right now.
But then you talk to people like Corbin, and Corbin prefers 2 over 1. I just prefer 1 over 2.
That doesn't help either. Corbin's inept.
Yeah. Corbin fucking loves 2 though. Like that's his favorite one. And, you know, I honestly don't even know if he played the first one. So I don't know how much of a reference he really even has on that. But he loves 2. But this one's just such a return to form. Everything feels great. The controls feel fantastic. They still have like they're still tanky, but that's part of the difficulty behind the game is like having to like be as efficient as possible with some of those tank controls.
Yeah, I shit on the game, or I shit on the first game saying it played like a PlayStation 1 game, but I actually understand what they were going for. Not necessarily sluggish, but you wanted your swings to feel weighty. You don't want to just swing. The way the stamina system works, you don't want to just swing around left and right because you'll run out of stamina and just get beaten to death by stupid skeletons over and over, and that's horrible. You don't want to do that. So you actually want to plan out what you're going to do and how you're going to attack, and jump to the right area and hit them from the back and shit like that.
Oh, I'm a mercenary. That's what I am.
I think that was in the first game, that class.
Yeah. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember. It's been a really long time since I played the first game.
But my point is, I understand the combat's supposed to feel very weighty and very heavy, especially if you're wielding a big fucking sword and not just a little hand axe or some shit.
Yeah. But yeah, like this, it's interesting. They've added these weapon techniques that consume a little bit of mana when you use them, which adds a whole new like element to like how you should play the game. Because they let you do like this really powerful attack. And it's different for every weapon that you use. For instance, like with the broadsword, like normally the broadsword's a slash weapon, so you're doing like big long strokes, and that can become kind of a pain in the ass if you're fighting in narrow hallways and your sword's hitting the wall and stuff. You're not able to actually hit the minions. So the broadsword has this special ability. It's like a lunge attack. It's a thrust, and your character backs up, and it's really slow, but you can back up a good distance away from your enemies, and he just charges with the broadsword just sticking straight out and deals massive damage. And it's a great way to eliminate the need to switch weapons. If you've got the mana and to deal with it, you can easily finish an entire crowd in a straight line if you play it right. So it really added like this whole new level of versatility to everything. I will say, everywhere I kept reading that this was the hardest Dark Souls that they've played so far. I have to say that I disagree. I think Dark Souls 1 was harder.
Game isn't easy, I'll give you that.
Yeah, the game is definitely not easy. I've definitely died at least 80 times, but all the bosses I've been really disappointed, except for one, and I'm not going to spoil any of the bosses because it's still too early for, and there's plenty of people out there that would get upset about that. But there was one boss fight that I've had that has actually been a challenge, and that one that I did like required a lot. I went in there like 20. I must have died on that boss alone like 20 times because he was difficult. He was fucking hard, dude. But none of the other ones, none of them, I've been able to take them out. Like, there's been a couple that I've taken out on the first try, without like the second boss. Oh my god, dude! I didn't even use my Estus flask. I just went at him and he fucking died. He was dead. Like I was just like this. Getting to him was harder than the actual boss, and I feel like that should never be the case in a Dark Souls game. And yeah, so I've died on every other boss except for that one, but I'm not having to do anything. And maybe it's just because I'm getting better at the games after playing them for so long, but like I never have to repeat a boss more than like 3 times, except for that one boss that I spoke of, the second one, or third one, third one. And so I'm hoping with New Game Plus that when you start doing New Game Plus, they have like extra abilities and stuff. So I'm hoping with New Game Plus, it's actually going to be like a harder experience, but the game makes up for it so much with the exploration and the world building. And like I said, it just throws all these familiar characters from Dark Souls 1 in there, and it's like, and you're staring at the bottoming into dragons and corpses of things that were slayed in the first game. And it's really interesting, like, seeing how basically the world has continued on, and you're staring at the body of some enormous giant that you took down in the first game, and you're just like, oh, this is awesome. This is really cool that they put this in here.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that.
And so there's areas that you're seeing again, but you're seeing them and they're different than when you first explored them in Dark Souls 1. And there's not too many areas like that. Most of the game that I've played through has been new stuff. But yeah, when you run into these homages, I guess, the first game, it's just like, oh man, this is really cool. This is exactly what I was hoping for. And so that's why I said there's like a really strong connection between the first and third game. That just isn't there. It doesn't exist in the second one. And man, they really nailed the PvP. This is the best Dark Souls PvP multiplayer period that Dark Souls has ever had. It's really easy to get friends in and out when the servers are working. I have to admit there's been a few like hiccups. They've never been down, but there have been a few hiccups trying to like summon players in or doing anything like that. The covenants all make perfect sense in this game. You really know what you have to do. It's clear what you have to do to get the items that you need to get. And the PvP is so much fun. Like there was an instance I got I got summoned into somebody's game to protect him from an invading player. That invading player summoned a friend of theirs to come in, and it was a 2-on-2 fight. We're fighting in the bogs, dude, and like a massive crab just appears out of nowhere, and so it becomes 2 people trying to take down the crab while other 2 people are fighting each other, and then like more people are porting it. Like this game, like it was like 3v3 versus a crab versus just whatever the fuck. It was a free-for-all just massacre. And God, dude, I died pretty early in the fight because I just got like gangbanged by a couple players and a crab. And it just did not go well. But man, like I never experienced anything like that in the first one or the second one even. At most I saw, just like one-on-one combat or like summons and stuff like that, and it was effective. But man, they really fucking nailed it with this. It works so well. I will say there was one instance where I got invaded by 2 players, almost took down one of them, but then like halfway through the fight, I could no longer see their animations. They would just walk with their shield held near their chest and their sword. Like I could see what sword, like if they switch weapons, I would be able to see like the weapon switch, but I couldn't see them attacking or blocking. I couldn't tell what they were doing. I could just see them moving around.
It's kind of horrifying.
I couldn't even see them dodging or anything like that. And so like I'm just like swinging blindly in the wind, not sure whether or not this attack's going to get blocked, what I should be doing. I can't see when they're attacking me. And I survived for a hell of a lot longer than I should have given the situation, but that irked me a little bit. I've never experienced anything like that. in a Dark Souls game before, and I was just like, oh my god, like I had just beaten a boss and just I lost a bunch of souls. I was not happy.
It's never a
but like, you know, that's just the way Dark Souls is. You know, there's going to be a point where I lose a hell of a lot more than that. And man, I'm just enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. Like, they really couldn't have done better with this one. And if this really is going to be the last in the Dark Souls series, then they have ended with quite a bang. I'm about halfway through the game right now. I'm taking my time with it. I'm about 20. I want to say like 22 hours, maybe 24 hours in. Like I said, I'm really taking my time with it, so I'm not like trying to plow through things quickly. I'm 22 hours in right now, and I'm just exploring the world and finding things like, oh man, the side quests are really, really good. The characters that you interact with are just like, they really upped the voice acting in this game. It's still kind of like bland, but they're supposed to be like you're talking to the dead. Like, there's not going to be that much emotion going on, but it's a hell of a lot better than just kind of like the fucking performance what's his face did in Destiny, Peter Dinklage. You know, it's not like that. It's not like that.
Oh,
like
dry.
Yeah.
Like, just woke up got out of bed, threw a microphone in front of him.
Yeah, that's kind of like, but that's kind of how like Dark Souls 1 was. Like,
Oh god, yeah, it's awful.
yeah. So
and the laughing, Palmer, the laughing.
Dark Souls 2, they improved upon it a little bit, and Dark Souls 3, man, they really upped the voice acting. But they got a lot of the returning voice actors to come through, and like, you know, like I'm dealing with patches again. I'm dealing with what the hell is that knight, that goofy ass knight in the fat boy armor?
Oh, the sun god dude.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's so many returning characters, and it's just a lot of fun, man. And the boss, like, though they're not that hard, the bosses are really creative this time around. Really creative, and the enemies are genuine. They're, god, dude, like the area that I just finished up, like slowly start eating away. Like, once they threw them up on you, if you got caught in it, it would stay on you. There was no way to get it off. That would like slowly start eating away. Like, once they threw them up on you, if you got caught in it, it would stay on you. There was no way to get it off. And it would stay on you for like a 5-minute period. And every time the bar built up, you would lose half your health. And it's like the bleed effect. But these maggots would just sit there writhing on you, and the entire time you're walking around for a 5-minute period with just like slithering maggot sounds happening the entire time, and your character's just crawling in them, and they're like eating through your flesh and stuff, and you can see it on the character, and it's fucking disgusting. It's wonderful at the same time. So yeah, this is definitely not the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. This is Dark Souls 3, and it is fantastic.
A more ringing endorsement could not be said.
No, man, not at all.
All right, well, Palmer loves Dark Souls 3. Today you learned.
Yeah, today a lot. As if that was really going to be.
That's true. Yeah, I knew that when Dark Souls 2 came out. I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, that will bring us to a close. This has been episode 39. We didn't get to a few things this time. We'll get to them next time. One of which is going to make us yell a lot, so you know. That's a tease. Tune in to hear us yell in 2 weeks. It'll be fun.
Yeah, and keep your eyes peeled for that Hearthstone video.
Yes, which we will do in a few days.
Yeah, that'll be up in a few days. And give us a follow on Facebook. You can just type Dark Mushroom Media into the search bar. Will be the best thing that pops up.
Or YouTube, where it actually matters.
Yeah, you can check us out on YouTube.
Fuck Twitch. We don't care about Twitch.
We're
Twitch
on SoundCloud.
We are on SoundCloud.
And you should join our Steam group. If you haven't joined our Steam group, it's a good way to get some free Steam games. What are we giving away this week?
Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons and Poker Night at the Inventory.
Hey, both of those are actually really, really good games. I have not played Brothers, but I have played Poker Night, and I have to admit that game is a hell of a lot more fun than I thought it should be.
Get some unlocks in TF2, man.
Motherfucking Brock Sampson all up in this bitch.
That was 2. Or was it? No, he was in the first one. That's right. He was in both, actually.
So yeah, give us a follow, give us a like, and we'll see you guys. Well, I guess we're doing a streaming episode next week, but so we'll see you guys next week for some streaming, and then after that, we'll be back with the normal talk cast. Take care, everybody. See y'all next week.
Bye-bye.